I saw the Pennsylvania. It came into dry dock in San Francisco. It got hit at Pearl Harbor, and it had some pretty good holes in it. They towed it back, then we're going to put it together and get it back out. But yeah, it got pretty badly bad. Then the ones I saw at Pearl Harbor, yeah, they were half sunk and half blown up, and quite a pretty big mess. Then in the Philippines, they had a Japanese cruiser that had been bombed and pretty well burned up. It was anchored there in the bay in the Philippines. So that's the only one I'd see. I think 33 knots was about as fast as we could go, and then I think jet cruisers was about the same. The destroyers were the ones that were faster, though. They could catch up to the cruisers, and they had torpedoes they could let off the side of the ship. We didn't have any torpedoes, we just had the guns and that was it. Oh, we had chicken, or once in a while they'd have steak. Steak was really kind of tough. Then they had like they'd make bread, and the bread had these little weevils, that little flour weevils, and they cooked them in there too. So, but other than that, no, the food was good. And well, we had refrigeration on there, and of course electric, no gas stoves and everything. So, and toilet facilities were about this, you know, they, for the men they had like a trough, and there was water running down the bottom of it. And the stools, of course, they flushed too, but they had no ladies' toilets there. In the Philippines, we picked up several $1 million worth of U.S. gold and brought it back to Guam. That was at the time they were talking of the Philippines being independent, and so the U.S. got their gold out of there. 1946 it was, and there was several $1 million that we took back to Guam in gold. We also took 12 Japanese prisoner of war back to Guam. They were going to be executed, but they didn't try to leave, jump the ship or anything. They stayed there, and then they dropped them off in Guam. They used to fire these 6-inch guns, and then they had these 40 millimeters. They were a shell about this big, and they go boom, 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 boom. The 20 millimeter anti-aircraft gun, that was a steady fire. It just kept pulling it, feeding the belt to it. And, they had a drone for that, a radio-controlled drone. They never shot it down, but they shot up a lot of shells. The Japanese had let loose a whole bunch of mines. Are you familiar with a mine? Mm. And we've got all those horns on them. Yep. And they would let those off in the sea for us supposedly to run into, and they'd catch sight of them, and this 3-inch gun, oh, it might have been maybe a mile away, and they'd shoot with this 3-inch gun, and there'd be a big explosion on the surface. And, one day we had a mine go within about 20 feet of the ship. The lookout missed it, and we come pretty close to it. But they sunk that with a 30-06. They shot holes in the casing. And, if they hit the horn, one of those horns should have blew up. Yeah. Yeah, that was about the biggest thrill I had, I guess. They had something that they would let off, some type of thing that they could tow and release it, and so that's what they'd shoot at out there. When those 6-inch guns went off, it rocked it pretty good. they had plank decking on these, so if a bomb hit, it wouldn't spatter steel all over. So it might blow the wood, but then that also protected the decks. The planking about so thick. Mm. And so they didn't have steel on top. Or the bomb might stay in one area instead of skidding along the deck and then hitting some 2, 3 other things.